Okay, let me start. Okay, well, I heard, I was talking about education. So, obviously, I'll go back to the slide which I was talking about when I was trying to talk about education. Here it is, and what I spoke is what I spoke on was I was speaking about Weber, Durkheim, conflict theorist, as well as I was left with Bernstein's theory of education, and so that I have to discuss, which I will discuss today. Okay, in the last slide, in the last lecture, if you find, I have discussed the Emile Durkheim's theory of education. I have spoken about Weber, as well as I have spoken about the conflict theorist. So Bernstein's theory is also very important from education point of view, and it refers to the what Bernstein thinks about education, sociology of education is he refers to code as a regulative principle and underlines various message systems, especially in the curriculum and the pedagogy. Today we have many types of pedagogies which we follow when we are doing education, but they, at that point of time when they were speaking about sociology of education, they referred to the curriculum. They referred to the code which is referred to the curriculum. For him, curriculum defines what counts as valid knowledge. Pedagogy defines with counts a valid transmission of knowledge and evaluation defines what counts as a valid realization of knowledge on the part of the taught. Whatever is being taught, it has to be in line with the knowledge which is being dispersed so that a proper learning is facilitated by the organization, is being done by the organization. So now I I finish the part of education and I move to a very important component which I will like to speak, that is on economy and society, and then I will talk about political economy also. We'll talk about political economy, we will talk about economy and society, and that we can take up upon as our next lecture. So let me speak today upon economy and polity in this slide, as well as I will speak upon something called next slide. I will speak on collectivity and social change. Okay, collectivity and social change. Here I speak about economy, which you can know about economy and polity from my lecture. Okay, so now I start with this. Let me share my slide because it will be easier for a student to understand if I share my slide. So this is what I have, and I define for you the economy. What is economy? So it is a system of production, distribution, consumption of resources, including cultural beliefs and support of the economic processes and the activities people engage in to obtain goods and services. The part of the society which deals with the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services, and the way of production is organized as consequences for family and political system. Economics is embedded in social processes and cultural patterns. Now, in the study of any economy, exchange is very important. The practice of giving and receiving valued objects and services. Exchange is generally classified into three systems, that is a reciprocal exchange, mutually give and take of the people of equal status, redistribution, goods are collected from members of the group and given back to the group in a new platform, and market exchange, goods and services are bought and sold at a price determined by supply and demand. So exchange involved can be material goods involved, symbolic goods involved, labor, money, and people. So the relations of reciprocal exchange. People act as expected way not because of economic benefits necessarily, but because of the social cost if they do otherwise. When dealing with another social or political group, these rules are no longer applied. Therefore, social interactions of trade will be completely different from with the members of the society, on the way in which they might be accomplished, in which they are silent trade system. Silent trade, which is a very important sociological concept, was often used in being better known or a agriculture hunting gathering society. So as per your syllabus, I discuss about a balanced reciprocity, which we discuss in terms of Gularing, where you can see all the island trading is being done with two products, that is the red shell necklace and the white shell armbands. What is a Gularing? An elaborate trade partnership between the Torbian Islanders, where Malinowski, a very leading anthropologist, has studied the Torbian Islanders and the Dulu-speaking people of the island. The central items of the exchange is non-Vaiga and consist of the armbands and the necklace. The necklaces pass clockwise from island to island and the armband cords and counterclockwise. So what happens in the Kula ring? It is a Mawali arm shells. There are cut form cross sections and conch shells and are decorated with egg cowrie shells. The size of the arm shell is indicated by number of cowries tied to it. Arm shells are often too small to wear and large ones are only worn by the owner's arm for important ceremonies, so that they are usually suspended as a bride look. Mawali travel counterclaims, like you have the clockwise interactions, exchanges. You also have the counterclockwise, and which is made by the Torbian Islanders, the Woodland Islands. Trace beads, seeds, shell discs, and enhance Mawali and rattle in their own works. During Malinowski's time, they were exchanged as pairs, but now travels as singles. Shells are classified and ranked by size, quality, polish, age, and history. Then under the Kula ring also, so when we talk about Malinowski, this becomes very important, that what actually is studied. There is something called the Pagi necklace, which was also in exchange things, which was also moving from one place to another. So, like this, there was a lot of exchanges which is taking place in the exchange, and why this was taking place? Because people felt that by these exchanges, they can enhance their social status. Similarly, potlatch was being mentioned by Marshall Moss in his book The Gift, and potlatches were social occasions by the host to establish, uphold their status position in the society. Often they were held by a mark in a significant event in the family, like the birth, the child, the death, the daughter, first menses, and the son's marriage. They were held by the commoners, were mainly local and elite of invited guests and from many tribes. Potlatches were also the venue. Potlatches were also the venue for the asserted economic ceremonies, ceremonial privileges, and asserted. So this is another example like Kula, where it is not an exchange of a commodity, but an exchange of a leisurely explained gift, a hosting of a party, where it also has a stigma, it has a status, it has rivalry portrayages which is taking place, and these portrayages also exhibit wealth and power of the families, as well as a massive amount of food and valuables are also exchanged by this. Then obviously when you take it from someone, obviously you are obligation to give it back also, and the same way you have to give it back, and it also establishes political alliances which generally increases the standard of living of the people who are working with it. So when we understand economy and society, we generally understand in it in terms of that how the economy is serving the society. We talk about the Veblen's concept of conspicuous consumption, and we elaborate on it also in many times. And this is an overview when we sit for a UPSC exam, that actually what is the economic role of the society, what is the role of distribution, what is a planned economy, how is a state and market related to each other, what is a welfare state. All these things become very important in our understanding. So another part which I will like to touch upon today is collectivity and social change. Because when we talk about collectivity and social change, when we talk about economy, surely we need to talk about polity. We cannot neglect talking about polity when we are talking about economy. So when we talk about polity, that we talk about the strength of the collectivity and the change which remains, and always in sociology we look for understanding the concept of social change. So what happens in collective behavior when we talk in terms of sociology? So what is a collective behavior? Is relatively spontaneous social behavior which occurs when a people try to develop a common situation to unclear situation. It can be divided into three broad categories: crowds, collective preoccupations, and public opinions. Collective behavior is divided into three broad categories: crowd, we have the crowd, we have the collective preoccupation, we have public opinion, we have sociologists have offered three explanations for collective behavior. So we have the contagious theory, we have the emergent wrong theory, and we have the value-added theory. Why social movement? Why do we talk about? There is full segment in the UPSC syllabus talking about social movement. So social movements are test and wane and experience success and failure. And how does it start? Is the civil rights movements in United States is a one example. From 50s to 60s, African Americans and anti-segregates fought for equal treatment, and Congress to pass new legal protections for minorities with the effort of dynamic change in the African region. So this is some of the pictures which you can see that which is there. What are the types of social movements? Social change, social movement. Alteration in various parts of the society over a period of time. Social movements are long conscious effort to promote and prevent social change. So long lasting, it is highly structured organization with formally recognized leaders. Deliberate attempts to institute or block societal change can attract membership in millions, and four types are based on the level and the change sought. So social movements can be of four types, that is the reactionary movement, the conservative movement, the revisionary movement, and revolutionary movement. What is a reactionary movement? Where the goal is the reverse to the current social change. The members are suspicious about the hostile towards social change, often violent in nature. What is a conservative movement? Goals to protect that they see society prevailing values from changes that they consider to treat these values. Revisionary movements go to improve or revise the some part of the society through social. Use legal channels and focus on single. And revolutionary movement goal is a total radical change existing social structure, use of violent illegal action, and can result to drastic change. Then the life cycle of social movement. Legitimation, as movement finds support in it, it is respectable. Leaders are seen as spokesmen of the just cause. At this stage, media can give attention. Agitation emerges out of the belief that the problem exists and that solutions may be found. Begins with small groups with strong commitments, sometimes seen as shrugs. Bureaucratization occurs in organizational structures and the movement becomes more formal, have rank structure, official policies and strategies, original goals and sometimes flaws. Institutional final stage occurs when movement has become established part of the society. Movement results to proposals of this. What is resistance to social change? We have resistance occurs without opposition. Many who oppose the change come from, except some remain opposed but adapt to change. Ethnocentrism, because people believe that their own ideas and the way of doing things are the best and strongly resist changes from outside. What is a cultural lag? Material culture lags quickly when non-material culture lags behind. The changes are slow. New laws and customs must be formed and new technologies. People who benefit from the status quo and some people feel that they have known and unknown problems that come and change. So with such like we want to talk about in terms of sociology, we talk about sociology of environment also. Many environment movements like going green have been taken place. There are life cycles of the labor market. The explaining women's movement has taken place. Healthy living has been taken. Technology and change has taken place. Resisting change has taken place. So sociology in today's world has been a globalized world, interdependent in nature, attending upon interactions, interdependence, economic globalization, exchanging of the power, national corporations have arisen in factories across the world. Multinational companies need transport people and goods, and new form of transportation is also created. So in today's social world, we have tourism also, which is a very important part of sociology. The face-of-face interaction also, globalization led by American movements, and this is how you can see in this picture that fast food industries have come back. Lost, how is it looked upon when we talk about the lost civilization, about China. These are some details about the societies, that how it is being moved and what is the world system theory, what does it speak, and this is how we talk about our collective movements which we have studied, which we have done. So this is all for today. I think it is more than enough for today. So you can record it and we can stop here. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Is anyone there? Today, if we can stop here. Thank you. Hello. Hello.